My inbox is always filled with emails from people wondering how they're going to get through Christmas. Maybe they're newly sober and they are looking to experience their first sober Christmas and they're a bit nervous about that. Or maybe they're still in the throes of drinking too much and they're just thinking, I know what happened last year. It was a nightmare and the in-laws are coming around again and it's going to be tough. And the thing is, we get sold this kind of image of Christmas, which is completely unrealistic in all things. We see adverts on TV, most of them for alcohol, around these happy families, and they're sitting around a roaring fire, playing games. Everybody's laughing, and they're all drinking a bit of alcohol, and they've got the Christmas jumpers on. And if you think about what the reality is, it's some way away from that, isn't it? In terms of, we quite often spend time with people that maybe we wouldn't choose to spend time with at other times of the year. So I just want to give you a little bit of the kind of advice that I tend to give to people, and also to share maybe a bit of the best practice that when I get those emails in January, which generally tend to fall into two camps of, oh my God, it was horrific, or actually, it was amazing and I managed to rise above all the circumstances. So I've got a half a dozen things I'm just going to share with you. I hope you enjoy them. So number one, be clear how you are going to behave through all this. How do you want to be? Because make no mistake, and you know this, you cannot control what anybody else does. The only thing you have any control over is how you respond to it. So if your mother-in-law is continually critical about your cooking or how you keep the house or how you look after the kids and all this kind of stuff, learn to smile. Yeah, that's her. This is you. And just make sure you don't react to those stimuli, because you're going to get your buttons pushed if you've got people around who you know have done that in the past. Number two, remember, it's okay to say no. If there are some things that you're uncomfortable with going into this, then find a way to get that on the table. The last thing you want is to put yourself into a position where you are deeply uncomfortable, you perhaps resort to some unhelpful coping strategies, and then the whole thing just gets inflamed. Remember, once you're 3 or 4 drinks in, then it's highly unlikely that you're going to have the presence of mind to rise above the circumstances, and the chances are you're probably going to get stuck in because somebody's pissing you off. So think about your boundaries and think about what you need to do in order to at least protect most of them. Yes, Christmas is about give and take, but actually one of the best things you can do is just go, right, okay, I'm not going to cross that border, and if I need to kind of have a chat with somebody beforehand, then make sure you do that. Number 3, if you need a bit of a time out and you need to step away, then do that. Quite often when people drink too much at Christmas, it's because they are seeking a bit of solace. And as we know, that quite often when people are drinking just at any time of the year, quite often it's for a bit of downtime, a bit of me time or something like that. Now you need to listen to that. Everybody needs a little bit of time where they can just draw breath and then go again. Now, that might be going to the loo for 5 minutes or whatever. But just have a think about what your coping strategies are. Maybe I'm going to go for a walk. Maybe I'm going to go and pop round to that lovely neighbour that I've got, or that little old lady who lives down the street. And I'm just going to go and take a card and a mince pie around, and that's going to be something that'll make me feel good. It'll make her feel good. And then when I come back to all the chaos and the bedlam maybe that's going on elsewhere, then I'm in a much better position to deal with it. Number 4, it's only once a year. Now remember that. Yeah, you don't have to put up with these circumstances, whatever that may look like for you. God, I'm sounding really negative here, but we'll wrap this up, don't worry. But it is only once a year. And quite often when I speak to people in January that are in a bit of a pickle, it's because they've done something that has meant that it's going to bleed over into the rest of the year. Maybe you've said something, you've offended somebody, or things just got a little bit out of control and the situation wasn't ideal or whatever. So remember, it's just once a year. So give yourself a bit of time to just recognize that. And if it's for a couple of days or things like that, then just make a deal with yourself that you're going to get through it and you're not going to leave a lasting legacy in terms of what may happen for the rest of the year. Number 5, manage expectations up front. You know, in the UK where I'm based, and I know in other countries in the world, the cost of living crisis, the cost of energy, inflation, everything's more expensive. Alcohol included is so much more expensive. And if you've got people who are, insisting that, Santa brings them the latest PlayStation or something like that, you might want to just think about how you can manage people's expectations. And sometimes to take a step back and just go, right, how do you want Christmas to feel? Generally, it's not about the gifts, it's about the experiences. It's about the joy of, yes, watching kids, if kids are involved, opening the presents that they love and things like that. But you might want to just not cripple yourself financially for the sake of 5 minutes on Christmas morning, if that's your kind of gift-giving thing. And maybe start to kind of just have those conversations around how maybe we can just make it a little bit more manageable this year because, Santa's been a bit poorly and there's lots of things going on in the world. So Santa's not been able to get everything that he wants for all the kids, but he's certainly going to do his best. And just try and set the tone up front. And finally, just remember this: alcohol amplifies emotions. Now, if you look at all the ads, you would think that alcohol makes all the good ones better. It rarely does. The first 1 or 2 drinks might, but generally alcohol tends to amplify the negative emotions. So if you've got something that you're not feeling great about, then make no mistake, slinging a few bottles of wine down your throat is only going to make it worse. I had a weekend away at Centre Parks, and they're quite expensive to go to, but we'd had some things that we wanted to celebrate as a family. And I was walking back from one of the things that we'd been to do, kind of quite late at night, and I heard a screaming argument, very drunken, and this is a family resort. So what I was basically hearing were 2 parents going at it, hammer and tongs, probably in front of their kids, shouting, swearing, not having a great time. And they'd clearly spent a lot of money for a lovely family weekend, and alcohol had completely ruined it. So just make a deal with yourself now. Going back to that first point around what can you control, and just think, okay, how are you going to conduct yourself through this festive season? What are the triggers that are going to come up that might make you reach for the bottle a bit more than you would do? And what else can you do? How can you manage those kinds of situations without resorting to drinking yourself into oblivion and perhaps creating a situation which you don't have any control over? So I hope that's been useful. I just want to take this moment to wish you all the best for the festive season. We've had some really difficult years. 2020, 2021, 2022, they're probably not going to go down in history as the most comfortable years to live through. And now is a time to appreciate your family, appreciate the people, even the ones that you don't like, and just take a breath. Maybe you're working all the way through Christmas and you're one of those amazing people that work in the NHS. Or maybe you've got a few days off, and just take a little time to recharge your batteries. We have everything crossed that 2023 is going to be so much better on a whole number of fronts. So from everybody here at Sober in 7, I just want to wish you all the very best for 2023. And if you're watching this in 2023, then I wish you all the best for 2024 as well. But in all seriousness, this comes around once a year. It is an opportunity to celebrate, to reconnect, and to just enjoy each other's company. So don't blow it. Lots of love to you all, and I'll see you all very shortly.